What's up, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers, and break down why the market is bouncing in the pre-market so far, as we have some very, very interesting looking catalysts that are coming out. The market's expecting something very important for FOMC, so I'm going to talk about that. But you should be watching for in the news for Tesla moving forward. But let me just mention that I am not a financial planner. Make sure you take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link. You deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. You deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total. And the offer ends very soon, in just about 12 hours from now. Anyways, for Tesla, I just want to say that right now we saw a little rebound on Tesla and the market's approaching our 50 EMA. This is very close to this 225 range. We'll have to see if Tesla manages to continue to push or not, but just notes that there is a little risk that could be forming right here as we have a head and shoulders like structure. So we're going to be watching to see if this ends up playing out, or do we see something completely the opposite. So I'll talk more about this in just a minute. But the question is, why is the market starting to pump all of a sudden? Why is the market on fire? If you look at SPY right now, it's currently pumping. It's up 1.26%. If we look at the QQQ, this is also up about or over 2% right now. It's actually trying to break past 468. The market's trying to bounce, trying to rebound. We're seeing a lot of buyers stepping in, and there's a lot of manipulation that's going on. And here's the reason why the market's trying to bounce. So once again, from a technical standpoint, this wasn't as evident, especially because of the fact that we actually dumped yesterday at the very end of the day, but that was all just another form of manipulation. This is happening because of this right here. Today, we have the FOMC meeting at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when we have the very, very important conference by the Fed. We're expecting the Fed to keep rates the same. That's not going to be a surprise, but the market's going to likely push and hold it very well, approaching the big meeting. The market is expecting an 87.7% chance the Fed is going to cut in September. For this meeting, they're going to keep rates the same. We know that for sure. There's a 97% chance. But for the September meeting, the next meeting is going to be in September 18th. That's just a few months away. The market's expecting an 87.7% chance the Fed gives us a cut. And now we're seeing headlines coming out. The Fed is on track for the first post-pandemic rate cut amidst the growing signs of a cooling economy. And the market's expecting Jerome Powell to call this out. That's why it's getting excited. That's why it's pumping so much. So let me just make this very clear. The market is betting that the Fed is about to cut. The cut's coming in September. That's why the market's pumping right now. If we don't get confirmation from Jerome Powell, the market could get a rug pull. If we get confirmation from Powell, then yes, the market will continue to rally. We went over this yesterday, but one thing that's different is the fact that the market is getting excited amidst this big FOMC meeting. So that's the reason why the market's on fire. I'll talk more about what this could lead to at least later on, but that's the reason why we're actually pushing the way we are. Boeing just announced its earnings. We also have Meta coming out later on. As far as Boeing goes, we actually have a wider than expected loss. Just want to be very clear about that. The loss per share is $2.90. That's actually below expectations, whereas revenues at only $16.87 billion. That's also below expectations. That's another loss that came out for the second quarter in a row, so not very good news for them. I continue to see some weakness, at least that's developing thus far. So that being said, that's something that's worth noting. We'll have to see how things go moving forward. As far as Tesla goes, we have two big headlines. A Tesla shareholder has come out and they're urging Elon Musk to tone down on his political commentary for the company's sake. Musk is getting criticized a lot for getting too political. That's what Galley ended up coming out as. That's the Tesla shareholder. They basically said that for the sake of Tesla, they want Elon Musk to just be careful with what he says when it comes to politics, especially with all the things that are happening. And there's a lot of increasing negativity towards Musk because of it. And they're saying that for Tesla's sake, they're asking him to just tone down on politics and focus more on the company. So obviously, guys, I don't think Musk is going to change that. He's going to maintain his own opinions. He's very, very outspoken. But at the end of the day, even with Elon Musk being very political, I don't think it's going to hurt Tesla for the long term. I think Tesla will be just fine. It's something that a lot of investors have to deal with, but it is the truth. And I'm still, in support of Elon Musk's freedom of speech. And I think we're going to be fine nonetheless. For other pieces of news, I just wanted to mention that the Tesla Model Y Juniper facelift may be coming out without any kind of anything that's covering it. So you guys can see that right here. There's been a lot of talk about how the 2025 Tesla Model Y Juniper could be coming out. This is not confirmed though. This is just alleged, but it's just a possibility of what the rears could look like. We have some pictures of what it might look like. This could be pretty cool. So I can't wait to see if Tesla confirms this in the future. Just wanted to call that out. Anyways, what's happening with the market right now? We're going to start off with Tesla. So Tesla's looking pretty interesting. As you guys can see, it's attempting to rebound, but I do have a concern. There's a possible head and shoulders that could be developing here. This could be like a left shoulder, this could be a head, and we could be forming a right shoulder here. So be very careful at this 225 to 227 area. Tesla needs to break past 232 to turn bullish. If we fail to break through that, if we don't break the highs that we've previously made, there is a risk of this head and shoulders playing out. Now, am I saying it will play out? No, but I'm just saying it's a possibility. So keep that in the back of your mind. Maybe, it depends on FOMC and what Jerome Powell gives us. We have to be very, very patient nonetheless. So with this, there's a left shoulder ahead, possibly right shoulder, depending on if this ends up developing or not. So watch and see how this develops. If we end up rejecting here in this 225 area, make sure you watch the support at 219. If we lose 219, there's a good chance that this is going to play out. We're going to be looking for a big dip on Tesla. So I want to give you guys a warning about this. Remember, if we do manage to break past 227, I'll be looking at 232. If we break 232, then Tesla could start pushing all the way back up and we could start squeezing again. So there's no guarantee that this will play out. This could be a trap depending on FOMC, but just keep this in the back of your mind. There's a possible head and shoulders, and this could lead to downside if we lose some key levels. So for now, Tesla will be kind of choppy and may even try to push a little higher, but if it fails to get a really big push, if the push is very small and it doesn't get a big breakout past like 232 or 229, then the head and shoulders is still a strong possibility. So keep that in the back of your guys' mind. I'm just here to give you guys warnings about that. For SPY, on the 1 hour time frame, we're actually looking at this resistance. So make sure you look at 548.5. If we hold above that, we're going all the way up to 550 plus, and SPY can push a little higher. If we fail, if we end up projecting off 548.5 and we come back down, make sure you watch this key support at 547. If that fails, we're going to be coming back down into our range, into like the 545 area. If we hold above this, we could be pushing all the way up to about the 550 plus area and then 552 and even higher levels. If 552 breaks, I'll be looking for basically 555. So just be careful. We look bullish. It has like a double bottom. This might just continue to push. We might see a squeeze approaching the FOMC meeting. But whether or not this continues depends on what Jerome Powell says. So keep that in the back of your guys' mind. We'll have to see how things go. So with the market pushing, this might actually help Tesla push a little bit. But like I said before, make sure you watch your levels and just pay attention to this head and shoulders. I'm going to be a little careful with Tesla. Not saying this will play out, but I'm just giving you guys a warning to be careful. For stocks like Nvda, Nvidia's attempting to rebound as AMD did well for earnings. Watch 112. If this breaks, we'll be going back up to 116. If we reject off 112, look at 108 as key support. We'll see if we break that, but as of right now, we look more bullish. For Bitcoin, we're actually holding it very nicely. We could try to push higher towards 66,600. If that does, if you do push towards that, we'll see if that breaks or not. There might be a little push on Bitcoin, so watch and see. It's kind of consolidating a bit, but there might be a little push at least temporarily. For the QQQ, we're also breaking out. Now we broke past 466. If we hold above 466, we could be going all the way up to 470, then 473, which is where our 200 EMA happens to be. But if we end up projecting here, watch 466 as a key level. If we break that, we could be returning back down to 462. So watch and see if we hold 466. If it holds that, I'll be looking for 470 as a potential target, then 472. QQQ looks like it might push a little bit, but like I said before, don't be overly bullish. We'll just have to see if how we end up reacting to resistance, and just know that the Fed is going to cause a big move, so we're not necessarily done yet. Apple's broken 220. As long as we hold above 220, I'll be looking at 222 as resistance. If that breaks, this imbalance will take us up to 224. If we fail to break 222, we'll be dipping back down. If we lose 219, we have this gap to fall all the way down to 218. So we look a little bit more bullish on Apple. This favors upside. It looks like it wants to try to break past 222. Watch for confirmation. If that's the case, we could see a temporary pump. The IWM Russell 2000 is trying to push. We have a possible cup and handle like structure. If we hold above 223, we'll be looking for an attempt for 225 plus. If we lose that, we'll be dipping back down. But as of right now, we're holding up very well. For Coinbase, we have a nice little rebound forming on the 1 hour time frame. We basically have 235 as potential targets. Could temporarily rebound, but don't forget that we still have this big gap to fill all the way down here. So look for 235 and see if we get a rejection or not. So be very, very patient. For Amazon, we're trying to rebound. Amazon's hitting 184 as resistance. If this breaks, I'll be looking for 185.4. That's going to be a little tough to break, but look at that as resistance. If we break that, we'll be pushing higher. If we reject, we'll be coming back down. But I think that 185.4 will be tested. So we could see a little bit more upside, at least for Amazon, just for now. And we'll see what kind of reaction we get. Meta is also trying to rebound. We'll see if 468 breaks. If that's the case, I'll be looking for 473. If it rejects here, we have this gap to fill, but this looks like it might try to push just a little bit temporarily. But then we'll see how FOMC causes this to react. Microsoft looks like it wants to push a little bit. We have an imbalance to fill, so it might be making its way back up to 422. And if that breaks, we could be on our way back up to 430. So watch 422.8. We'll see if that ends up breaking, and that could lead to a little bit more upside. And we have Google. It's also trying to rebound. We'll be looking to see if this pushes towards our 200 EMA. So the charts look a little bit more bullish. The market looks like it might try to push a bit, but whether or not this happens depends on lots of different factors. Whether or not this continues depends on Jerome Powell. And as far as Tesla goes, I just want to warn you guys, we still have this head and shoulders like structure, so we'll just have to see how Tesla does. Will there be bad news that affects this or not? We'll just have to wait and see. But be careful with this head and shoulders like structure that's forming. I just want to give you guys a warning about Tesla. With that being said, thank you all so much for listening. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you, and peace out.